Hey guys, I haven't uploaded a video for over a month. I was doing some power walking for cardio exercise, but I'm taking a few months off now. The first part of this video, guys, I'm going to give you just a bit of a quick update about odd lifting, about my odd lifting schedule for the next couple of months. And it looks like that starting next week, I'm going to get my my dumbbell, the dumbbell that I use that weighs 55 kilograms, or just over 120 pounds. And I'm going to use that dumbbell at a training facility in North Edmonton, and I'm going to pay the facility so that they can store my dumbbell there. I do not think that I will be able to reach any personal best, or that I will be able to match my time trial cheat dumbbell curl odd lifting total of 9 reps in my right arm and 7 reps in my left arm by the time I start power walking once again. And I will start in the second week of June doing my cardio training for power walking. And so I'm going to try to go for 9 reps in my right arm and 6 reps in my left arm before the second week of June at this strength training facility in North Edmonton, where I'm going to store my dumbbells. So that's what I'm aiming to do. Now, I have to also obtain, as I've mentioned before, a better camera and not use the internal camera on my laptop. I have to see what's out there for cameras. I don't want to pay a lot of money for a camera but I want to get a good camera that I can use starting in probably August of this year and into the fall, that I can use to film my heavy odd lifting sets where I try to go for a personal best. I will try to go for 9 reps in my right arm and 7 reps in my left arm, so 16 total, before I move up to a personal best of 17 total. So I will try to match where I was in May of 2016. I'll try to do that in August or September of this year. Because I was in the hospital last year, and because I had to move, I moved from where I was living before, and I moved out. It cost me the hospital. I spent 3 months in the hospital last year, guys, and I spent about a month and a half moving, so that cost me some time. So between August and, let's say, November of 2018, later this year, I will be looking to get that 9 reps in my right arm and 7 reps in my left arm to match where I was in May of 2016. And in 2019, I am looking to get to 17, guys. I'm looking to get to 17 total reps with the 55 kilogram odd lifting cheat dumbbell curls. So that's 9 reps in my right and 8 reps in my left. First I have to do 16, which I've done before. I have it on my YouTube channel. I did it in May of 2016. So I'm going to work my way up to 16, 9 in right, 7 in left, between August and November of this year, 2018. And in 2019, I'm going to try to get 9 reps in my right and 9 reps in my right and 8 reps in my left for a personal best of 17 reps in 2019. So, one last time. Between August of this year and November of this year, I'm going to try to match my previous personal best in time in a time trial odd lifting setting of 9 reps in my right arm and 7 reps in my left arm for a total of 16. That I will try to do between August of 2018 and November of 2018, later this year in the fall. And in 2019, I will go for 9 reps in my right and 8 reps in my left for a total of 17. That will be a personal best. Move me up the rankings. It will also move me up the rankings a little bit when I tie my personal best of 16, but when I hit that 9 reps in my right and 8 reps in my left for a personal best of 17 total reps, that will move me even further up the world rankings for super heavyweight / open weight for that division. So those are my plans. That's the odd lifting update I have for you guys. So again, I'm going to say one last time before I switch topics here, that this odd lifting training I'm going to do before the second week of June when I start my cardiovascular regimen for the late spring and summer. I'm not going to film any of it on camera because there's going to be a point where I'm catching up, or I'm going to have to work towards 9 in my right and 6 in my left for 15, and then move up from 15 to 16. But between now and the second week of June, I am just content if I get the 9 reps in my right and the 6 reps in my left for 15 total. So I'm looking for 15 before the second week of June, and I'll be content with that. And because I am a drug-free lifter, things don't happen as quickly because I don't use steroids or growth hormone. So I'm looking to hit a 15 repetition total before the second week of June. Now on to the second thing I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to mention a guy who he's not living anymore. I believe he lived to age 85. I'll put the links below the video, all relevant Wikipedia links. And he's an actor. He was an actor. Now he's passed on. He's in the higher realm. He's in heaven. His name is Burl Ives. Burl Ives. And I had the pleasure of, a few weeks ago, I PVR'd a movie on Turner Classic Movies called Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, based on the play by Tennessee Williams. The film stars Paul Newman, Elizabeth Taylor, and Burl Ives. as Big Daddy Pollitt. Big Daddy Pollitt. And I must tell you guys that the physique in this 1958 classic film, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, that Burl Ives character had, the character he played, Big Daddy Pollitt. And I guess Burl Ives had to put on some weight, from what I've read, to play the character. At the time, the physique that he had in 1958 in that film, where he played Big Daddy, or Big Daddy Pollitt, man, he had an impressive physique on him. I just, he's one of the most, for an actor, there's a lot of pressure in Hollywood to, have this kind of beefcake, dreamboat kind of physique, like I don't know, like a Zac Efron, if you will. To have like a Zac Efron-esque kind of physique, or to have a physique like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. But to have a physique like that, and that includes even someone like Zac Efron, who's in musculature quite a bit smaller than Dwayne Johnson. That means using steroids and growth hormone. We're all, for whoever is watching this video, I'm assuming that you're all, adults. You're all, you know that to get to the size of a man like Dwayne Johnson, you have to be on steroids or growth hormone. Sure, he eats very healthily. Sure, he works out a lot. But to be that heavy, to be possibly heavier, I would say he's heavier than 265 pounds. So to be 285 pounds of chiseled muscle with hardly any body fat. And he's not overly tall. He may be 6'2". At the tall, he's probably between 6'2" and 6'3". He's not, like a hugely tall individual like the retired basketball player Shaquille O'Neal, or he's not like the MMA fighter Stefan Struve, who's 7 foot tall. He's about 6'2", 6'3". To be 285 with visible abs and good definition, and just to look like Dwayne Johnson, you have to be on steroids or growth hormone. Especially considering he's turning 46 in a few months. I know a lot of people are easily deceived and gullible, and a lot of kids and teenagers are watching his movies. And I'm not slandering him as a person. He seems like a very kind and very sincere man, and he's a talented actor, and he was a very talented sports entertainer or professional wrestler in ring. But you can't look like that. You can't be that heavy and that lean and that muscular without being on steroids or growth hormone. And since I mentioned him also, Zac Efron, was Dwayne Johnson's co-star in the Baywatch remake film. I don't think you can look like Zac Efron, for Zac Efron's height and for his build, and be that lean and muscular without probably being on steroids or growth hormone. I mean, these guys are paid a lot of money to look a certain way, so it's going to be advantageous for them to get on the performance-enhancing drugs. When there's millions of dollars or tens of millions of dollars on the line, like there is for Dwayne Johnson or Zac Efron, that they're going to be using performance-enhancing drugs, because it's a competitive industry. If Dwayne Johnson can't look a certain way, then they'll hire Jason Momoa or someone else, right? Like Dave Bautista or something like that. So it's a competitive world in Hollywood for an action star yet, and these guys are on steroids and growth hormone. But getting back to Burl Ives, you know, he has a physique that's natural. He had a physique that was natural, that was rotund, that was aesthetically pleasing back in 1958 when he played the Big Daddy character in the film Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. And you have to put into it as well, into the equation, that it's an achievable physique. I would say that, you know, because I mentioned them, Zac Efron or Dwayne Johnson's physiques, like in that movie Baywatch, the remake, those aren't achievable physiques for the average man out there. But in Dwayne Johnson's case, the huge muscles combined with the heavy body weight, it's just not achievable. And the low body fat, it's not achievable for the average person to be 6'3", 285 pounds of chiseled muscle. It's not achievable. You have to be on steroids and growth hormone. I'm not saying that he doesn't work out incredibly hard, that he doesn't diet and have lots of discipline. He does. But he's hitting the PEDs. And so is Zac Efron, for a man of Zac Efron's height and build. But Burl Ives had a physique that was achievable. You have to remember, guys, not everyone wants to be ripped or look like Zac Efron or someone else. Not everyone wants to look like Ryan Reynolds. Not everyone has that aesthetic goal in mind, to be ripped or to be lean or to be cut or to have definition. That's not everybody's goal. Some people, and maybe the vast minority of people, may have a goal to look like Burl Ives, back when Burl Ives was in his prime. You know, that could be a goal for some people. I know that I would rather look like Burl Ives than Zac Efron or Dwayne Johnson. That is Burl Ives in the 1950s. And if you want modern examples, I don't agree with his atheism. He makes good movies. I don't agree with this director's atheism. But one thing I do admire about Guillermo del Toro is his physique. I find Guillermo del Toro, I think he won Best Director for his film, Best Director at the 2018 Academy Awards for his film The Shape of Water. I don't like his atheism. I think he does make good movies, though, but he has an aesthetically, to me, an aesthetically appealing physique on him, an achievable physique. You know, not everyone, you know, even to put out, even to let's say Anderson Cooper, who has a much more achievable physique than Zac Efron or Dwayne Johnson or Jason Momoa or Dave Bautista. Not everyone has the genetic proclivity, if you will, to look like Anderson Cooper, to have this, you know, physique that all the women want or whatever, in the mainstream anyway. That's why you got to see that there's different points of view, different ideals on what a aesthetically pleasing physique is. Now, I would rather have a physique like Guillermo del Toro or Burl Ives in the 1950s. That's my personal preference. Most guys want to look like Anderson Cooper, or guys who want to have a larger, lean musculature want to look like Zac Efron. There are guys out there who want to look like Phil Heath, or the bodybuilder Big Ramy or Big Ramy, which is I think it's just, I don't understand it. I wouldn't ever want to look like that, even if somehow there was a magic pill you could take and you could look like Phil Heath or Big Ramy. I wouldn't want to take that pill because I don't want to look like that physically. It wouldn't be my choice. So, a physique I admire is the physique of Burl Ives in the 1950s, especially in the 1958 film Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, where he plays the character of Big Daddy. That's a great physique he had there. And if you want a modern example of a similar physique, really look no further than the guy who recently won Best Director at the Academy Awards, Guillermo del Toro. I think his physique is fairly aesthetically pleasing. Guillermo del Toro could be a little bit heavier. He could gain 30, 40 pounds and still be in good shape. 50 pounds maybe even, but that's more the physique I want to aspire to. Or I already feel fairly self-confident with the body or physique I have. Most people don't want the physique I have. But as a fat man, if I could have another type of physique, perhaps less, I don't have really lean muscle on me, but if I had less muscle, a kind of a 1950s Burl Ives physique or a Guillermo del Toro physique would be much more in my ballpark of what I want to look like. Not everyone has the same goals when it comes to the aesthetics of their physiques, of their bodies. That's more where I am. That's more in tune where I am with what I want to look like. If you want to go into the WWE to give me for me to give you examples, I would rather look like Otis Dozovic or Kevin Owens than I would want to look like Jinder Mahal, right? I wouldn't want to look like Randy Orton. I wouldn't want to look like Jinder Mahal. I wouldn't want to look like Roman Reigns. I wouldn't want to look like John Cena. I would rather look like Otis Dozovic, who's in NXT, the developmental territory for WWE, or I would rather want to look like Kevin Owens by far, than wanting to look like John Cena or Roman Reigns or guys like that. But that's not what I want to look like. That's not what I have the capacity to look like. Some guys, a lot of guys will hate on me online for this. Some guys just don't rip too. Even unless they have a trainer, they have a dietitian, they have even a life coach. Unless they're on a super strict diet, they don't work, they're independently wealthy, then, and if they use performance enhancing drugs and eat an incredibly strict diet, then can they look more similar to John Cena, say. But even for a guy who holds more body fat like me, you'd still, even if you lost a lot of weight, a lot of fat, you still have loose skin that you'd need surgically removed. So, for me, a 1950s Burl Ives physique, or a current, a physique of a guy like Guillermo del Toro, is much more where I am. If you want to go way back to 1958, when Burl Ives played Big Daddy in the film version of Tennessee Williams' Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, you can see his son, the character. He has two sons in the film. One of his sons, the one who's featured more prominently in this film, is played by Paul Newman. Paul Newman in that film had a very lean kind of, for the time, a beefcake, without being on steroids, a very lean, muscular beefcake type physique. And a few years earlier in the film, A Streetcar Named Desire, Marlon Brando had a physique that was more muscular than Paul Newman's. And a little less lean, but more muscular. And pretty much, I've thought that the physique that Marlon Brando had in the film version of A Streetcar Named Desire is almost, without really strictly dieting, the biggest a guy can look naturally, without really strictly dieting and having to sacrifice a lot like that. That's probably the biggest a guy could look, maybe. A guy of average height, anyway, unless you have freak genetics. So an average guy, let's take out people with freak genetics here. The biggest they could probably look is, like, for arm size, say, and muscularity, is probably Marlon Brando in the film version of A Streetcar Named Desire. But for me, I'm more in tune with what Burl Ives looked like in A Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. In Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, in 1958. That type of physique. The type of physique that the director of The Shape of Water has right now. That's the physique I want. I guess I used the word want, but that's a type of physique, I should say, that I would rather aspire to outside of having my own body right now, is the physique of the late great Burl Ives, the physique that he had in the 1950s, or the physique that director Guillermo del Toro currently has. Those are two examples of physiques that I would much rather have over a bodybuilder type physique, over a John Cena type physique, over the physique of a Zac Efron, even over the physique of a Anderson Cooper or Don Lemon. So, but with my own, the way my body looks now, I honestly don't feel a lot of shame in it, as long as my health isn't in a very bad place. I don't feel a lot of shame, in being overweight. It's become lately a bit of a double standard. You can be a female, especially if you're a celebrity, and be overweight or chubby or obese. Like the actress on, trying to remember the name of the show. I think her name is Chrissy Metz. On This Is Us, or I think that's the name of the show. Chrissy Metz is the name of the actress. Or in the WWE, the WWE female superstar Nia Jax. Or, let's see, someone like the plus-size model Ashley Graham. It's acceptable to have physiques for a woman like that now, more in the mainstream. But for a man, still, it's not seen as acceptable to have a physique, say, like Guillermo del Toro does. People will call him a fat pig or whatever, but they, in the entertainment industry, they wouldn't really be that mean to, say, Chrissy Metz, the actress Chrissy Metz, or to Ashley Graham, or to someone like WWE superstar Nia Jax, even though they are They are, I would say, in the case of Chrissy Metz, comparatively, she's more fat than I am. Nia Jax is a taller height, so I don't really know, but I would say comparatively she is. I weigh 318 pounds. Nia Jax is like 270, so like I would say comparatively she is about a little heavier comparatively than for a female than I am comparatively, I guess. And Ashley Graham would be way less comparatively for a female compared to me. But Nia Jax and Chrissy Metz would weigh more than me if they were males, say. Let's make that comparison. So if Ashley Graham was a male, she would weigh less than me. Like if you add whatever muscle differential, a male would have on a female. But if you added that differential to Chrissy Metz, for sure Chrissy Metz, and to Nia Jax, they would weigh more than 318 pounds is what I'm trying to say. So I think that, guys who are the size of a Burl Ives, the late great Burl Ives, may he rest in heaven's paradise, guys who are the size of a Guillermo del Toro, they should not feel ashamed about it. Everyone has their own unique body type, and either way, just if you guys have Turner Classic Movies, or if you're able to see it somehow, watch the 1958 film Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. It's a good film, good dramatic film above everything. It's not the exact. The film version is not the exact same as the play version. The play by Tennessee Williams. It takes out a lot of the homosexual themes and it takes out kind of the happy ending, so that there's kind of in the play there's more open, it's more open-ended without such a happy ending with reconciliation. And in the play it takes out the homosexual themes that are sorry, I meant to say, in the movie, because of the Hays Code, the decency code that was there between 1930 and 1968. And because of that, in the film version of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, the film version with Paul Newman, Elizabeth Taylor, and Burl Ives as Big Daddy, they couldn't, in the movie version, have talk about homosexuality, because the Paul Newman character played by Paul Newman was supposed to be a closeted homosexual, as he was the character was in the original play version. And in the play version there wasn't a happy ending where Paul Newman's character reconciles with his father, played by the Big Daddy character, played by the late great Burl Ives. So that was changed. So in the play did not have, it had more of an open-ended kind of ending. Not really a Hollywood storybook ending like in the film. And the play had the themes of the character that Paul Newman plays, Brick Pollitt, I think his name is. In the play, the character is a closeted homosexual. In the movie, that theme is taken out. So, anyways, check out the movie from 1958, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Burl Ives, very skilled actor, and in his life, from what I've read, he was a very kind and compassionate man, and so check that out, guys. Thank you. Bye.